this month, so buckle up because this one's gonna be a long one. He's like a chef. I mean, he ain't cooking it up. The word not ever again was a series that got me out of my freaking reading slump. Are you guys ready? Drum roll, please. I knew July was going to be a rough one. I either knew it was going to be the best experience of my life or the worst experience because I did a TBR jar video. I am very much a mood reader. I do not let anybody pick out my books. I just go to the shelf and pick out whatever tickles my fancy at the time. I knew that it was either going to be a really bad idea or a really good idea, and I can't wait for you guys to figure out what the heck happened this month. My little sheets here. Aren't these cute? And these have all my ratings and all the authors and all the books that I finished. Next up was Rosie and the Dreamboat. This was by Sally Thorne, the same author that wrote The Hating Games, which was turned into a show and is now on Netflix. I think I rated it like a 3-star because it was like a novella. It was kind of short, like it was sweet, short, and to the point, what you would be expecting for a novella, but like it just didn't tickle my fancy. Overall, it wasn't like good, but it wasn't bad, so it was just like a 3-star. Like she was there, but like she wasn't there. Up was our book club book for July, which was The Haunting of Hill House. I am not a huge fan of horror, and I know I'm saying this right when we're going into spooky season. Just let me have my moment, okay? I am not big into horror. Horror is not my genre, as you can clearly tell. Romance is. I was a little bit apprehensive at first, okay, to read The Haunting of Hill House because it was horror. Haunting of Hill House is by Shirley Jackson and Laura Miller, and I ended up rating it a 2-star. Our main character loses her marbles. She lost them, and you don't even figure out that she lost them a while back until you're like midway through the book, and everything just becomes wishy-washy, and like I was losing my mind with it because I was like, what do you mean? Like, what is happening right now? And you don't get, okay, well, was there a ghost? Was there not a ghost? Like, what was going on? It was like the wish-washy. It didn't follow my regular plot chart, okay? There was no bump in the road at the end. There was nothing like that. It was just she gets there, creepy stuff starts happening, then all of a sudden we don't know what's going on, and then bam, boom, bada bop, we're at the end, and I was lost. I was as lost as she was, so it was 2-star. Then right before we had to review Remarkably Bright Creatures, I finished that one because that was our June book of the month, and I did not read it until the last minute because I procrastinate, and that's fine. We welcome that here. I rated it a 3-star only because I was bored. I was so bored. Like, I was reading the words, but like nothing was happening. Going through the motions of her day-to-day, everything was great. I got bored halfway through, couldn't get out, and so I had to find an audiobook version of it and listen to it. I haven't gone back and watched the movie just yet. I might have to do that tonight. The Octopus's chapters, Marcellus, oh my god, he was my favorite. He was literally all of book club's favorite. I think everyone was talking about his little chapters because like he was talking about how stupid we are as humans, and I'm like, you're so cute. Like, and then the ending scene killed me. I'm not going to talk about it too much. We don't do spoilers, so I'm not going to talk about it, but it was cute. It was adorable. I could not have pictured a better ending for all the characters, and honestly, I think it tied up really nicely. Just like boring throughout the book. I'm sorry, I was just bored. Next up is my favorite book of the entire year, Reckless by Elsie Silver. This pretty little book up here at the top, Reckless. Do you see how many tabs I got in there? Boogie, we was having a good time. I read this on stream. Some of you have never ever seen me entertained with a good book. I only like the mid books, right? This was a good book. I was laughing so much that my chat was sitting there going, what happened? Why is she laughing like that? Like, what's going on? They wanted to know every little thing that was going on with this book, because all I'm saying is I have never been more entertained by some characters in my entire life. Now, I don't know about you guys, this does have the accidental pregnancy trope in it, so I would warn you against that if that's something you're really not into. But I feel like that didn't really take away from the story at all between these two main characters. If anything, it just added to it and added more to their chemistry. I, however, relate to Winter so much because she's like one of those people that's icy on the surface, but like behind closed doors, she is like the biggest softie in the freaking world. And she loves everything about him. He loves everything about her. And he knows that when she gets feisty and she's trying to be mean to him, that it's actually just her trying to express her feelings and she doesn't know how to do it. So she does it in a poorly manner. And so he's just like, girl, you are so cute when you get mad. And she's like, I freaking hate you. I hate your guts. And he's like, oh, I just know that means you like me more. And it's so entertaining to read. Go on and on about this book. So I'm gonna stop myself. Like, I could even read you some of these quotes. They're probably not YouTube appropriate. Honestly, they're so cute. Definitely, if you guys are of the younger audience, make sure you guys read the warnings for this one, because, woo, spicy. About spicy, girl, this next one is crazy. Have y'all ever heard of Priest? That one. I swear I had heard of this book. It just happened to like pop up on my Spotify and it was like free audiobook 4, and I was like, free audiobook, I'm in. Was it terrible? Yes. Did I regret every single second of my time? Also yes. To go back and bleach my eyeballs and my brain, I would. On to another disappointing read, Red Rising. I know you guys are gonna hate me for this, and that's okay. I was not a fan. It was just not my cup of tea, y'all. I don't know what was going on. Half the time I was so confused. I had so many charts pulled up. I had the charts of the characters. I had the charts of like the plot points. I had to go in and watch a YouTube video, shout out to him by the way, of covering the entire plot of the book because I was so lost. I had no idea what was going on. To me, that was not good because I like cutesy little romance books that I can kick my feet to when I get home from work. That was not a cutesy little romance book that I could kick my feet to. That was, okay, war, slavery, politics, all of it, okay, in one book. And I was not ready for that. Like emotionally, I have had that book sitting on my shelf for a while. It's been on my TBR for a while, but I was just not ready. I just was not prepared. Red Rising left me in such a reading slump that I did not read for over a week. That is right. I never do that. You guys don't know? Your girl reads every single day, a minimum of 50 pages every single day. I wake up, the first thing I do is read like 10 pages, and then I read like 40 pages when I'm going to sleep at night. I read every single day. To not read for a week after reading Red Rising is crazy. And let me tell you what pulled me out of my reading slump in just a minute, because we have 2 more books to get through before I tell you. Making Daisies on Sundays. This was the tandem read that I was doing with my friend. I was in this video and we had such a good time reading together. The problem was that the book we chose was awful. It was so bad. I think I rated it a 2-star. That's how bad it was. The main character was so unlikable and the love interest was horrible. Like, girl, I just could not get behind these 2 characters, and y'all could not convince me in a million years that there was a connection. It just wasn't there. She loved him and he thought that she was convenient, and that's what was going on. Y'all can't convince me that there was a connection between those 2 characters, because there just wasn't. And then something big happens in the book, and the main character, and he doesn't like me and I don't like him because he did this to me, and they split up for 5 years, then they fake date, then they're like, okay, well, maybe we actually do have feelings for one another. Mwah. No, you don't. No, you don't. You wanna know why you don't have feelings for one another? Because he's just using you. You're just convenient for him. You just made yourself available for him. So he's like, yeah, I might as well date this chick. Yeah. He's like, oh, actually I had feelings for you the whole time. No, you didn't. You can't convince me that you did. No, I hated him. That's all y'all need to know. The whole book is supposed to feel like rom-com-y, but it's just this awkward little like takes in between each of the chapters, and it just didn't sit right with me. I don't know, it made me cringe a little bit on the inside. When like Lynn Painter does it, I don't know why I eat that up every single time. It did not go right, okay? It did not go right. Didn't like it, not at all. One more book until I tell you what got me out of my reading slump, and it's Game On by Novessa Allen. Obviously you guys know I've read that entire trilogy, and I was really excited for this one since it's the newest release. However, it was the most disappointing book of the entire series. Why? Because he was like supposed to be morally gray, but he was just like a freaking asshole the entire time. Like, he was just awful, plain awful. That's all he was just an awful character. And she was like, but he's a bad boy. No, he's not. He's just awful. That's not a bad boy. That's just awful. You just, no. just no. And everything about it was a no for me. There's nothing else I can say, really, that besides, oh my god, please, I was pulling my hair out the entire time. There was no chemistry between those two characters. Nope. The second book remains my favorite. The first one, close second, but like the third one, girl, you fell off. It went from like, okay, that one's okay, to the second one being like, nyom, and then way off. All fell way off. Series that got me out of my freaking reading slump. Are you guys ready? Drumroll please for our second 5-star read of the entire year of 2026. The Awakening, the first book in the Zodiac Academy series. Now I know what you guys are thinking, it's a lot of books. That's also what I was thinking. There's like 27 books in this series. Don't quote me on that because your girl's bad at math. It's not like I work at a bank or anything. I had such a good time reading this. Was it super cliche? Yes. Was there way too much bullying going on? Also yes. Here's my hot take on the bullying scenes in the first novel. Is that they were trying to show us how like ruthless the Fae society is by like having the girls constantly bullied, but in the second book they get the revenge, girl, because that's our next book is Ruthless Fae, both by Caroline Peckham and Suzanne Valentini. The first book was 5 stars and the second one was 4.5. I think I'm just kind of getting familiar with the characters and it's kind of like sunk its claws into me, so I can't imagine it not finishing the series. However, I am getting kind of bored with it. Everything about the Zodiac Academy series so far is our main characters. I like their kind of cliche-ness, but also the way that they handle situations. I feel like if some people were put in those same spaces, they might have a different reaction, but the girls still stay true to who they are, and that is very endearing. I also think that the first book was a really good setup, and the reason that I made it 5 stars is because it was a great setup for the rest of the series. The world building felt very natural in my opinion. There was a lot of it going on. It didn't feel like too choppy, and it gave us like a great grasp on the magic system while we were going through the book. I didn't have to look up any of the character charts. I didn't have to understand how many characters were going on in the story. Everybody got their own backgrounds, and because the books are so chunky, I feel like the series is so intimidating to like newer readers. But honestly, I'm highly recommending it because it's just fun. It's just a fun time. Like, if you guys were having a little bit of a fourth wing hangover like I was having, let me just tell you, this book is literally like copy and paste. Besides, it's like a magic academy, and I'm having such a great time with it. I also got the graphic novel like audiobook versions of it, so it's like a movie basically playing in your mind, and like instead of reading the books word for word, where the book will say, "and she giggled," it will just have her giggling. And then if she's using magic or anything like that, it'll just play like a magic sound effect. Like, it's really cool, and I highly recommend listening to those if you guys can. Moving on to our last 2 books for this month. Get this one though. I just did this one today because I was not expecting to read another page of books, but here we are. The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston. This one was so freaking cute. I want to tell you guys, I rated this one 4 stars. I loved this one. I think it was something to do with the way that the story was told and how much I loved the characters. Basically, the 7-year slip is an apartment that slips 7 years past the time frame that she's currently living in. So you are kind of experiencing her with grief. You're also experiencing her love story happening in the moment and her like fighting herself. There's like 3 different battles going on at all times. You can literally never get bored with this one. And I freaking loved the male main character because he's like a chef, girl. Like a chef? Tell me he ain't cooking it up. Tell me he ain't chefing it up in there. I like the chef. He was nice. He was nice. He had his own little passions, encouraged our main character for her passions, and I was like, ooh, how you doing? I read Bride by Allie Hazelwood. Y'all, I have never been disappointed more. Tell me why the spice was written like that. I will never say the word not ever again without thinking of what I just learned today. If you guys don't know what a knot is, do not look it up. I was just like, ugh, What? You said what? What was going on down there? Yeah, no. I just think it wasn't for me. I think other people would enjoy this. I was really enjoying the world building. I think Ali Hazelwood is really good at that. I gave this a 2-star because I like her world building. I liked specifically the fact that the vampire's way of measuring wealth was having glass, because the glass had to be specialized in order to not burn them, which was pretty cool and like a really niche detail. However, the actual love story was like kind of insta-lust, and like I just didn't really enjoy that as much. And also, we're supposed to be looking for her best friend, but instead of looking for her best friend, we're just off doing other things that have to do with a knot. I was really bored. And it was like 60% of the way through the book, and I was like, dude, when is anything actually going to happen? Because I felt like nothing happened in this book, like the last couple of chapters, and then it was like bam, 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 and like all the loose ties were being tied together, and everything came together really nicely in the end, but like, yo, I was just bored. So 2 stars it was. I went through that. Let's talk about the books that I actually finished that I was supposed to finish in my TBR video. I finished Bride, obviously. I finished Rosie and the Dreamboat. I finished Picking Daisies on Sundays. And once again, I finished Red Rising. Or did Red Rising finish me? I don't know. I think that we need to do a redo. I think that the TBR jar needs to be finished. So after this video goes out, I am going to film and edit another TBR jar video, and we are going to dominate this challenge because I'm sick and tired. And I think that Red Rising just wasn't for me, and so maybe it caught me on a bad day, maybe it caught me lacking, but that is probably going to be my next upload. I will see you guys in the next one. Goodbye!